Okay, perfect.
It's on marooned, if that's correct.
Yeah, exactly. So this map, I'm not really sure if you have seen before. It actually has a special star type.
Okay. Should we pause at some point where we, like, let's say 10 seconds and then we just count down?
I'm going to pause 30 seconds.
Or we just go to live, that's also fine with me. We can do
It's
that as
probably
well.
better for you to pause at 30 seconds or 10 seconds so that I can explain also.
Okay, no, okay, just go and I will, my capture age just, I
Fast
will
forward
wait
it.
at 2 minutes, I will wait at 2 minutes for you.
Okay,
I'm a
okay, okay.
professional caster Omega Lul.
All right, so you might have noticed that some players actually seem to be a little bit more familiar with the map than others, and that's actually going to be the case for dogel. So, the way this map works is at the very beginning you have your villagers surrounding a shipwreck. That shipwreck's going to contain 75 wood. When you deplete the shipwreck, a mill foundation pops up, and when you finish the mill, of course, your villagers deposit the wood that they had collected, and that gives you enough to go for a TC. So, what's very interesting about the start is you begin with 2 scouts with the skin of a Karambe warrior, and by the time you get the resources to go for your TC, you have gotten enough resources to find a good spot for a TC location. Alright, I'm at 2 minutes.
Okay, sure, I will just join in. And I think obviously, like, I have seen some of the maps and it was very obvious to me that preparation is like super important. And yeah, it's like WWP, both players didn't finish that shipwreck. So is that I feel like also the TC placement from Lix is really to made a lumber camp before that. I don't know if that's the way to go. You also made an additional lumber camp, which feels, yeah, it feels like they haven't really prepared the map, and the start for dogao+miguel seems way better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I
You also see
completely
that in
agree.
villager count, it's 19 to 16 villages. I mean, that's already a really big difference.
Yeah, exactly. So the way that the map draft works for this set as well is we have 5 regions for Terra Nova Duos, 1 per continent, and or well, group of continents for the Americas. But the way it works is you only get 1 map per region for the draft. So for this best of 5, we are going to have 1 map per region, and they pick 2 regions each, so 1 map from each region, and then the remaining one, which in this case was Africa, has 4 maps banned by one team, and the other team picks from the 3 remaining maps which one is going to be used for game number 1. And this was actually picked by Wild Palace.
Wow, that's surprising to me because their start is just terribly. Look at the villager counts already. Like, they're dwindling away from each other so fast. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just going to fast forward as well and try to catch up to live gameplay.
Okay, sure. I
Yeah,
mean, we have already dogs from dogao+miguel. I think dogao+miguel might be the most underrated duo in the history. Like, you always talk about Viper and Hera. You talk about, like, no, not Viper and Hera. I mean, Viper and Tato and Hera and
yeah.
Lyri and stuff. But dogao+miguel, they played together like since I can remember, and they're so good. Like, the teaming up, what player has to do what part, the strategy seems to be on point as well. And like, if you play so long over time, you develop a sense of what to do, even if you maybe not communicate or you're in a stressful situation. So I think they're probably the most underrated duo out there.
Well, I think there's definitely something to that, of course. There is also the fact that communication is also going to be a little bit different because they both share the same language too, so they don't have to worry about speaking English with somebody from a different country, for instance.
That's also true, yeah.
Okay, so how much have you seen of the new civilizations?
I played the DLC, obviously, got invited for that, played a little bit around here and there. I think they're pretty strong, huh?
All right, we don't have any right now, but I'm pretty sure we are going to see some throughout the series for sure.
Pretty sure about that. Interesting, Yo's going into the middle with a villager in the transport, probably trying to, like, somewhat secure that spot, but I don't think that's really the way to go in the early game. Feels like early game you want to control the water, get your opponents off the fishing ships via fire galleys or galleys, whatever you prefer there. And then you should expand in the castle age into the middle. That's how I would approach the map.
Yeah, it can definitely be done like that. We have seen other teams actually approach the map like that too. I imagine over here this is mostly so that the thing about the center though is you will notice 4 access points, and those can only be accessed by transport ships because you cannot walk. So
Yeah.
if he walls this, if he can wall all 4 access points, that could potentially give him control for later stages. But as you said, you know, palisades in the castle age with war galleys shouldn't be too hard to take down.
Yeah, they go down super fast. And also, like, if you look at the villager count discrepancy, we have 67 villagers for Miguel and Dogao and only 58 for Yo+Lyx, and that's quite a big difference already. And I fear it's going to be more with both Miguel and Dogao already being in feudal age and Yo+Lyx being behind in that as well.
Yeah.
Oh, actually interesting. Archery range by Dogao.
Oh, all right. Yeah, well, he should be on his way very soon, so I imagine the blacksmith. Yeah, the blacksmith's up as well.
So straight going for a fast castle, it seems. Oh, he doesn't have the resources to go for the castle age already, so he's going. Ah, he's up. No, he's up. He queued it behind him. Makes sense.
Yeah. There we go. And that's probably going to be the case also for Mr. Yo, given the resource he's got right now. Not so much for Lyx. Lyx will be kind of stuck in the fuel age, but he's going for galleys and he'll try to get water control outside, which can make a big difference too, because besides the center gold, the only gold that's available on this map as well is going to be around the shorelines inside each shipwreck.
Yeah, I see those shipwrecks. I'm really surprised about the decision making here from dogao+miguel. I think the early game was way better, as seen in the villager count and difference, as we mentioned. But like water control seems to be important not only for the outside to control enemy fish, but also with water control you can push inside and also get a really big control of the inside. So now actually Miguel is adding a dog and he's starting to produce a fire galley out there. So it's like a hybrid build, fast castle. You go for fire galleys and you make some knights to support the potential crossbows that come from Dogao's hands, and later he wants to transition into CA, I believe, which is going to be the range unit then. But yeah, I'm surprised that Malians didn't play Feudal Age here, because they start with more wood, which should really benefit them. They have cheaper buildings regarding wood as well, so I'm a little bit surprised that the Malian player didn't invest into that Feudal Age, but we're gonna see how it plays out.
Yeah. For sure. That's one of the things that I really like about the map pool for this tournament as well. Although, wait a moment though, on the right hand side we might see a villager go down actually. Mr. Yo is blocking the villager that just built the dock over there. Is getting blocked rather. And the Dogao is trying to get it down, but man, that scout is so weak. It cannot... can it take the villager down? It is still very far away from the TC though. Alright. He's blocking it. Yeah, I should be able to get it down, and that's going to be a villager going down. That's really well played. At the same time, though, Dogao did end up losing one villager himself next to the TC from Mr. Yo. So I guess that's going to be 1-1. Actually, with all the fishing ships going down at the same time, yeah, it's not 1-1. However, up in the north as well, the scout's coming over from Miguel, and that's a beautiful pick against Lyx. Well done.
Yeah, but on the other hand, Lyx is making a lot of pressure with those galleys, and if he micros them well, then galleys are just way superior than fire galleys. So probably WWP more concerned about establishing water control, and they're willing to give up 1-2 villages to the land aggression, but then they have the water control, so that's pretty interesting. And Dogao actually didn't even go for crossbows, as he right away went into CA, second TC, and now we see also him adding a forward workshop, so pretty interesting what he's going to do with that.
By the way, I should be updating the co-caster command. I'm going to keep track of these cavalry archers, what I'll do so. But just to make sure, it's just FlyLikeDjango, right? No underscores or anything?
No, nothing special. Just FlyLikeDjango.
Perfect. There we go. So yeah, the cavalry archers are roaming around already, and the Gale they are looking very strong still in population, but this could potentially change depending on how Wild Fast plays their cards, especially on water.
Yo is so lucky. Look at the castle position from Mr. Yo. Like, he knows that Dogao has Cav Archers and he still goes for a castle there. If the Sierra are around, if Dogao actually sees it, his castle never goes up, and then Yo is in a super bad spot. Now he gets to play with Oregon guns, which are decent, I would say, for Portuguese, especially in Castle Age. So yeah, pretty crazy that that castle actually went up. Really lucky, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Up north, on the other hand, Miguel is taking another villager over here from Lyx, and that's going to be like the second or third villager I think that Lyx has lost. And even though he's got some spearmen, he's been struggling to keep up with the knights, and good unit control from Miguel does end up granting him a few extra picks. Alright, Mangon is coming out now for the Gao as well. On the right hand side, forward.
Yeah, obviously Mangonels can't push the castle, therefore you would need to add rams, but Mangonels is already also great in the combination with the sea against the Oregon guns, and you see Oregon guns can't keep up, and oh, Yo is losing so many villages on the stone. Ay.
Oh boy.
Look at the will count difference, Nova. 104 to 67. That's such a big will lead for Dogao and Miguel.
Yeah, man, not being familiar with the start of the map over here just makes it fairly straightforward for the guild to just noble this game.
And also, Lyx never went for the War Galley upgrade, and he didn't upgrade Botkin Arrow for his galleys. So actually, the fire ships who should do bad if against upgraded War Galleys with Botkin, but they're actually doing decent. And Miguel has a push on land with the knights now adding a workshop, and also he has a push on water. Like, it just, I'm sorry to say this, but it just feels like the WWP have absolutely no idea how to play the map, and they're just getting steamrolled. I don't want to say it, want to be mean, but yeah, it just feels like a big knowledge gap here. Not skill gap, but knowledge gap. And usually I see that happening a lot in those tournaments where you need to prepare, and if you think about teams that are prepared, then Dogao and Miguel comes to mind. Another one would be obviously Gamer Legion. They always have prepared strategies, or like My Insanity / Baguettes, also a team that practices a lot, and those teams are gonna have big advantages.
Yeah. And you know what? I actually got surprised this time around that AM even was showing good levels of preparation for the most part. Although, well, their last result in getting knocked out of the tournament that do not reflect on it too well. But before that, it was actually pretty good for them too.
Yeah, I mean, probably big on the Hera comeback, who's usually pushing for more preparation, I would say. The other players are not that much. And Nikov actually prepares a lot as well. I guess Nikov also prepares a lot.
That is true. Well, we saw a defensive tower coming up for the Gao, but Mr. Yo was able to deny the foundation, and now he's getting within range of the TC, so he's gonna try and take it down. I think Mr. Yo is the only player right now with a somewhat of a chance of potentially bringing the game back over here, but even then it's very small.
I mean, Yo is playing with 12 organs, and yes, he's pushing Dogao, but once Miguel decides, okay, my friend Dogao needs help, I'm sending knights over in combination with the CA, then the organ gun's gonna get cleaned up for sure. And also you have to keep in mind, yeah, he's doing damage, but at the same time, CA are doing a hell lot of damage to Yo's eco in the back as well. He can't keep up with the mobility. Lyx is struggling immensely. They don't have any water control. So it's just adding up over time now. More than double the will count. So even, let's say, okay, let's imagine a scenario in which Dogao loses 5 villages and Yo only loses 2. Then it's still worth it for Dogao because his teammate is winning and he has more TCs, more eco, and it's also fine. So he's happily taking those trades. Like, he's super happy with those trades. He doesn't mind at all, and it's super winning situation for them.
Yeah, completely, man. There is just so much catching up over here for Wild Pass to do that it's started to become kind of unrealistic. Especially when you take a look at Dogale's not only villager count, but now even Dogao's resources are looking pretty good. very soon it seems to me like he's gonna gather enough to even try and go up to the Imperial Age, given he's not really producing military quite as heavily.
Yeah, I mean, now he's investing into bloodlines for the CA to have some. I mean, the only thing WWP has is really the push from Yo. If Yo's push somehow kills dogao and then he can maybe push into me, I don't know. But Miguel is on how many stables? 4 or 5 stables, so you can easily play over there. It's just. I don't know. I don't see the silver lightning for WWP. I'm really sorry to spoil the fun.
Right. Well, yeah. The writing's on the wall. Right now, they're gonna keep on going because they don't want to call it while they are still alive, but it might not be the case for very long.
That is indeed very.
Okay, I am back. Sorry about that, guys. That was a power outage. But yeah, I am being told that the game is already over, which makes sense. It was already over the moment we were taking a look at it, so...
So it's 1-0 for the team of dogel, as you call them.
There we go. Perfect. So, yeah, have you seen this one before?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I saw Baguettes there playing against Slam and Doubt. I saw the brutal domination of Sito and Anatov.
Perfect. So you might be familiar with the trade workshop mechanic, right?
Yeah, from the last Red Bull, right? Remember? We had the Red Bull Bololo, which that map had the trade workshop.
Well, the way that the trade workshop works on this map is a little bit different because other than giving you resources, it's not going to give you resources. Actually, it's going to allow you to train units.
Oh, okay. And what kind of units do you train?
Villagers.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So
Yeah.
probably worth grabbing that one.
Yeah, for sure. You have one per team, so to say. I think it also allows you to train trading donkeys, if I'm not mistaken, but nobody has gone for that ever just yet.
So funny how everybody starts trading with their junks.
Yes.
That's super hilarious.
It can be like really strong.
The Gauss one's carrying 53 gold. That's so much gold. Holy crap.
Yeah, exactly. So it can be really strong. Now Lyx is a little bit closer because he's closer to the center, but he's still going to carry 171.
Like, especially that's like important to do if you play water, because one of the two players should, in my opinion, always play galleys on this map. Seems like the better choice than fire galleys. So especially if you start trading and accumulating a lot of gold, you can way faster place the third dock and get into production without sending actual physical villages to gold, which if you don't know the trade, you are just lagging so far behind. Like, obviously something you need to know and it's like super important, but it seems like all players do know, and we don't have that difference we had in the first game. And now Lyx is wants some UFC fighting here. He wants to box.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Paul's over here, one of the strongest civilizations for this.
Yeah, I can imagine Berbers is really strong as well. Obviously faster moving villages. Paul's regenerator. That makes a total lot of sense. Now he's eyeing the lumber camp from Miguel. He would pick Dravidians here. I'm not sure if Dravidians is the pick here, but... Oh, and he loses one villain.
Yeah. So yeah, Berbers over here, Pulse can be really strong, and I do like that he keeps the villager majority over here after the pick over there, and now that he's got the horse to potentially block villagers with, this could be really good, but his micro's gotta be on point, so you can see already one villager is actually going down really low for Lyx. That is not ideal. He doesn't have losing one already. Wow.
Now 1-1 in the MMA fight over here, but now Miguel is gonna lose a second one, so 2-1 for Lyx.
He actually lost one on the left as well, so 2-2.
Oh, so 2-2. Okay.
Well, yeah, this is really hectic from the very beginning. It's been very common on this map to see something like this. I think it's the first time that I see Pulse do it, but I have seen Berbers go for it plenty of times already.
Yeah, but actually Miguel managed to wall in the wills, so he can at least chop wood now. On the other hand, if Lix ever gets up to feudal age, because he walled him in now, he can just place a tower or make one archer, and the one archer kills 5 villagers. So yeah, it kind of feels great that Miguel walled him in, but it can get really bad really, really soon. So, oh, Lix is placing his down center there!
This is so good, and he's done it before with Berbers actually, especially on Costa Giuoto, which was another map that also had Berbers play a lot of. But yeah, this is the first time that I see it here, I think.
What am I watching? Is this low Elo Legends or is this a competitive tournament?
Well, it's pretty genius. Now the villagers cannot escape.
I know, but it's like, why would you delete your town center? It's such a big investment. You lose 100 stone and 275 wood. I mean, the way easier choice is just to go up to feudal age and make a tower or something like that. I mean, yeah, it works. It kind of works, but if I don't know if that's really worth it or not. I can't. I guess
There
let's
you
look at the will count. Miguel is in feudal age with 15 wills and Lix is in Dark Age with 22 wills, I guess, and he's gonna push further. I think he's also going to douche dogao maybe. He's gonna continue. Then it's worth, if he continues with the will fighting and he stays in Dark Age and just produces wills and kills, keeps on continuing killing wills for Miguel, and then he goes over to dogao as well. I think Lix can solo win this game. Yeah, now I think it's worth it. If he would have stopped there, nah, but now it's super uber worth, yeah.
Yeah, and he might get a villager over here doing a really good job blocking it, and there we go. That's another one. So far, actually 8 villagers down for Miguel. He's only been able to get 2 in return.
Yeah, and Miguel wanted to play water for their team. He was the water player, which I don't really understand. I mean, yeah, Dravidians is good on water, but why would you choose your front player to play water on this map? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me because he's always gonna be in some shenanigans on land. It could also be an archer rush or whatever, but your front player is always gonna get attacked at some point on land, so you want to have your water player in the back. You want to have him relatively safe. Now dogao is also gonna lose a villager. Yeah, I don't really, oh no, he's saving it, but yeah, I don't really understand the decision making here from dogao and Miguel.
There we go. You gotta also keep in mind that Mr. Yo is the only player who's gotten a hold of one of the trade workshops, so Rival Palace as a team might be able to get further ahead in worker count as well later in the future, but you know, the guild's done a pretty decent job. You take a look at the worker count and they're only behind by 2 whilst having one player 1 higher.
Yeah, I mean, those are also a lot of fishing ships right now, which could potentially die to Mr. Yo's water aggression now. Because like it's gonna be really hard for Miguel to keep up water production. dogao only has 1 dog, so in theory, yeah, it looks good, and now dogao is also up. But Yo should win water, and then it's gonna be way harder for dogao and Miguel to keep going. Especially for Miguel, he should be completely out of the game if he loses his fish. But right now they are still holding on, so maybe they can make it work.
Yeah, they've gotten a hold of the other trade workshop now as well, so they should be able to at the very least keep up with worker production.
Worker production, really important actually. dogao not making builds out of that trade workshop right now, so not utilizing it.
Oh, by the way, the trade workshop's going to train villagers. It's going to take 50 seconds as opposed to 25, so it takes a little bit longer.
Look at sneaky dogao sending a spearman over to the trade workshop to deny it from Mr. Yo. And now he has to go back there, kill the spear. It's so annoying.
Yeah, he can potentially just run in circles, but he actually does end up bailing. I probably would have liked for him to just run in circles and sacrifice the spearman.
Oh, Lix is douching again!
Oh! True! He got it!
But he will miserably fail. There are scouts there, and now Miguel is hammering up that tower. So this one is gonna be a big fail for Lix. I think he went a little bit overboard. Once he saw the stable and he saw towers from Miguel, he should have known that it's time to stop. And now he's gonna lose and kind of throw the advantage. Yeah, now he's throwing the advantage WWP. Yeah, such a good spot. But he just went too overboard. Now he's have to replace the TC again.
Yeah.
Just, yeah. Why not leave it there where it was? He could keep on producing wilds, fight here and there, and they were in a decent spot. Now the spot got way worse. And also dogao being so much faster up to castle than Yo doesn't feel that great either. So let's see how this game goes.
Absolutely, man. And for all the pressure that we have seen Lyx put forward with the CC shenanigans and villager fighting and whatnot, well, now the guy's got freaking knights coming out, you know. He can send those straight forward. And if you take a look at the left-hand side, for instance, Mr. Yo's got some exposed economy next to the trade workshop. He's got some exposed economy on the woodlines on the very left-hand side as well. And even some hunters over there just waiting for the knights to show up.
Yeah, and also if you think about how does the game develop now? Basically dogao and both Lyx are out of the game. Yeah, Lyx is now because he fucked up more out of the game than Miguel, but both Miguel and Lyx are not gonna play a factor. So this game is gonna get decided by the quote-unquote pocket player or the player that plays behind, and that's dogao and Yo, and they play a China mirror. Like they're both Chinese, and dogao was faster up. Dogao has more villagers, so I tend to say that actually dogao and Miguel are in a better position right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And notice this game sense. dogao sending the knights right into the trade workshops because he knows if they have gone for the trade workshop, some villagers must be around. There we go.
Oh. And quick wall failing for Yo. Camel out though. Got a stable there.
Let's see, we're gonna see another villager go down for sure. There's a camel over there, so he's gotta be careful. The camel and the spearman. But he still managed to get a few villagers over here. I guess it's not as much damage as he was hoping to do, but 2 villagers, you'll take it, man. Especially from Mr. Yo, the one player from the other team that's actually giving you a run for your money. It's good.
Yeah, now completely. I mean, Lyx is still in Dark Age. There's no point to try to do further more damage to Lyx. You need to, if you're dogao Miguel, you need to focus on Yo and make as much damage as possible, and that's how you win the game. Right now, those 2 knights are hunting for Monova.
Yeah, man, it's just hilarious to see the score from Lyx. It was down to 500 just like 2 minutes ago or something.
Yeah, I mean, Lyx can be really, like, he can win a game with his craziness, but he can also lose you a game that you already won or that you are in a good spot. He can go too overboard and then lose it for you. And that's kind of what happened in this game. They were in a good spot and he just went way too overboard.
Yeah. Yeah, and interestingly enough, right now the worker count doesn't seem that different, but of course we still have 1 player in the Dark Age for Rival Palace. In any case, you know, Lyx is always going to continue being an issue over here if he's left uncontested, because eventually he'll get to the Fuel Age and he can start going for towers or whatever. So we have some pressure from the dogao over here. It's also going to try and keep Lyx in check.
Monastery now added from dogao, which I really like. We have knights and camels out on the field, so the monk is generally going to be your best unit in defense and offense. Also picking up some relics here and there doesn't hurt as well, and surprisingly from Yo running into the town center, almost losing a camel. This game so far been like kind of sloppy from a lot of players. Like, really surprised.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. I do like a few extra picks over here that the dogao's getting on Lyx, but I don't think he's gotta commit too much to this. As you said, already Lyx is kind of dead. You gotta focus on Mr. Yo, and if he can just send like 1 or 2 knights just to make sure the Lyx does not bounce back, that's good. But of course, he's just gotta try and focus on Mr. Yo, who's actually getting ahead in worker count right now, quite a bit.
Yeah, and that's what we said. Both China players are deciding this game right now. Should decide the game, and Yo up there, but we talked about Lyx Dark Age completely out of the game, and now as you see Miguel up to Castle Age, the second player, so Miguel can start to play a role, a factor in the game again, while Lyx is he's just not gonna play ever a factor in this game. Like, this game needs to go plus the hour mark or even longer for Lyx to play a determinating factor. And Miguel actually now in Castle Age, he can start adding TCs and try to boom as well. Adding some monks against camel or knights could potentially also work. I don't think he should stay 1 TC and push. I think he should start to boom as well. And then you have 2 players against 1, and then it's pretty easy to decide which team is going to win.
Yeah, exactly. So we see finally FlyLikeDjango coming up for Lyx, but too little too late, I would say. So with the Castle Age coming up for Miguel very soon. He's playing Dravidians. Are you expected to see Elephant Archers over here? Or what do you expect to see from him?
I mean, he should not like say I'm gonna play this or that. It should depend on whatever Yo is playing and then counter that, because Lyx is not gonna bring any valuable military on the field. So whatever Yo offers you to play, you play against it. So if he plays, let's say, knights, you add monks. If he plays spears, you could probably go into the elephant archer if you want. He should play the unit that counters Mr. Yo, and then dogao should always stick onto knights or camels or a mobile unit for raiding, and then it should be fine.
Yeah, that's a fair point. So I'm taking a look at dogale's point of view, and they do not seem to know exactly what Mr. Yo is up to these days, because if you take a look, they have like no vision over there.
Yeah, they should focus more on Yo. I think they're getting still distracted by Lyx. Now Castle dropped from dogao onto Lyx, who now reached the feudal age. So he wants. I mean, Lyx could honestly get defeated, right? Is that a possibility? Lyx getting defeated. He doesn't have. Yes. Oh, yes. In the middle of the map, he has 4 wilds on a llama camp, so probably not getting defeated, but could really be bad. Now also Miguel adding a siege workshop. I think he's walling him in. Yeah, they're really trying to defeat Lyx.
This is
really
good,
it's
man. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know, because the only way you lose this game is if you over focus on, because Lyx is dead. If you over focus on Lyx, then there might be Yo just killing them both alone, right?
Yeah,
you know
for
what
sure.
I mean? Like Miguel is 1 TC as well. Now he added a workshop. He's not booming, and then there's a world where just Yo completely booms away and just kills both players. And Lyx just causes so much trouble. And yeah, if you would defeat Lyx, then yes. But Lyx is not gonna get defeated. Somehow he's gonna sneak out some villages, and somehow he's gonna be still doing something in the game.
Oh man, unbelievable. With the Exodus over here, it's actually working out. He doesn't have the lead on the TC. What is he gonna try and do? Go for the TC on water over here? I'm not really sure actually where you can build it. I think you can only begin with one.
Yeah, he's trying to place it there where his llama camp was with the 4 wilds. He just wants to have a TC to be able to go up to Castle Age, because he has a market. He has 800 gold, 560 food, so he can go up. Monks on the field now from dogao, converting the knights from Yo. Yeah, Lyx just wants to get to Castle Age.
Yeah, for sure. You know, this has actually worked in the past. We have seen a few games during Terra Nova Duos where one player seemingly, while still being kind of dead, is going to draw as much attention. They are going to keep on being the punching bag for long enough for the other player to get significantly ahead and carry the game. And you take a look at Mr. Yo, and actually he's got right now the most military units by quite a bit, with twice the military count compared to the dogao, as well as a lot of extra workers as well compared to anybody else, and this is starting to look a little bit scarier.
Yeah, if you compare villain military counts, the game is dead even. Like, completely dead even. And look at Yo. He knows exactly that he needs to be, like, a backpack Lyx, take Lyx into a backpack and carry the game. He's on 40 Cs plus the trade workshop. So, actually, like, 4.5, 5 TCs, whatever you want to call it. While dogao only on 3, now adding his 4th. So, yeah.
Well, man, Mr. Yo right now has been producing knights from up to 5 stables at a time. He's racking the units up really quickly. Meanwhile, dogao, he's not really going for any counter units. He's got some camels coming up, but only from 1 stable. I don't think it's going to be enough.
Also, I'm really not sure about the choice what dogao is going here. He's going for multiple castles. He's making one, and he still has a 620 stone for another castle. But Chukunu, yeah, while being the best unit that Chinese can make, are slow. In this map, there's a lot of space between the players, and it's open. So +2 knights under TCs still kill villagers, and they're way better at raiding. So I don't really understand the decision making here from them. I'm not like super happy with the heavy on Stone and Chukunu choice here.
Man, with these knights, he's completely overrun dogao. The conversion over there made no difference. The camels went down right away. You take a look at these knights and they've been able to get 10 villagers so far, and that might just be the beginning of it. You can still see the Mr. Yo keeps on producing quite heavily as well, so this is actually starting to look a lot more real for Wild Pass over here for a potential to come back.
Yeah, it could be the classical Lyx is causing a lot of chaos and Yo just booming and running over two players. But honestly, it just feels like so much decision making in dogao+miguel's spot just went super wrong. Unit choices feel really weird as well, and yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. And yeah, they don't see everything, but it should be like, you know how Lyx and Yo play. Like, it's not like they're not doing something new. They always play like that, right?
Yeah, well, I was thinking that precisely as well. You know, Wild Pass over here, Lyx might have been kind of disruptive earlier on, but I don't think it was enough to grant this lead for Mr. Yo. I think partially, of course, some of the quote-unquote blame is going to be on dogel just focusing so hard on a player who didn't really have the chances of doing too much, just lie there to call some attention.
Look what in which age Yo is going.
Oh man, unbelievable! Take a look at the resources from the Gale.
He can't, he has 1000 stone. 1000 stone that is absolutely doing nothing. The Chukunu are not gonna do anything, and Yo is just gonna go Cavalier and just run over them again. Just straight up Cavalier and run over them. And dogao's playing with 2 units. He tagged into Chukunu. They don't have botkin. He also made camels with bloodlines and the first armor up. It's just such weird decision making from dogao. I really don't understand the unit choice here. It's mind blowing to me that he went for that.
And you know what? Mr. Yo over here is completely self-sufficient. If you take a look at his production, he's got Chukunus coming out, so he's going to provide both cavalry and archer units all by himself. He does not need a teammate anymore.
He doesn't, and that's how they play, that's how they win games. And it's really good, and actually those forward castles are so good because they pinch Miguel and dogao into that right corner of the map. It's gonna be hard for them to expand. They can't get rid of the castles, and when you're in the Imperial Age, what can you make out of the castle? Yes, trebuchets. He can start trapping them down while Miguel and dogao, they can't. If they want to push the castles, they need to add rams, but they play against a player in Imperial Age. It's gonna be so hard for them to now push Yo. And also, while that all is happening, Lyx has the peace and time to not get touched, and he can now reboom into the game as well. This is just classic Yo+Lyx gameplay, and it's working out picture perfect.
Absolutely, man. There we go with the third castle coming out. Wow, that's just called GG right there. Gee.
Yeah, imp into GG. And
wow.
Yeah, this game was one of the funniest, or like not funniest, how do you say that? Enjoyable, that's the word I'm looking for. It was one of the most enjoyable games I see. It had TC drops, it had water fights, land fights, decision making, one player carrying the game, and it had everything. Chaos, like, it was a really fun game to watch.
It was like a soap opera within the game.
Kind of, yeah.
Alright.
And that's gonna even the score, 1-1, huh?
There we go. Taking a look at the achievements over here, there is not really too much to get out of here, just Mr. Yo completely dominating for military with a close to 7-4 KD ratio, while for economy he also managed to completely outpace everyone basically, allowing Wild Pass to get more than 50% of resources at the end of the game as well. There you are. Well done.
The classic Yo backpack.
Right. Game is already on?
Yeah. Yes, I'm in. Let's go. We start with a caravan here and a camel. A chamel and a caravan.
Exactly.
That's nice.
So Lyx is taking a little. I think this is going to be a restart by Wild Wolf Palace. Lyx's TC
Why are
position is
they?
awful.
Yeah, Fios is not great either.
Yeah.
What
They're
is going Miguel is also
yeah.
and Dogao is all of their. Have they played the map? Like, what's happening? I mean, if I look at it, I'm just thinking, okay, I walk to the Lamba and place it there because like it's 1k wood and you have it safe and you don't need to make a lumber camp. But on the other hand, you want to make a lumber camp at some point because you want to have the double bidex, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, and also it's not worth to walk for the berry bush because the berry bush is only 750. That's not so great.
Yeah, the one berry bush over here, the pile of food's going to have as much food as 6 standard berry bushes put together, so it's the same as a standard start.
Yeah, but I wouldn't take the walking distance because you want to have TC fast up as possible and get out villages as fast as possible. That's like the biggest but I would have walked to the wood pile. But then on the other hand, are you gonna see it right away from the start? Are you going to find it?
Yeah.
The more I think about it, the more the TC placement of the players makes sense in my head. I think if you spawn and you see the pile of wood, then you can make the argument to walk there. But if you don't, just place the TC right away because having that is like super important. Are those tents doing anything up there or just some units that protect the relic, I assume?
Yeah, those are Gaia troops. So, honestly, either team could call a restart over here, just going by the TC locations of all 4 players. We only have a few extra seconds though.
Yeah, I don't think they will call a restart. Seems really purposely placed. Townsend does an interesting Sith choices. Khmer and Britons. Obviously, Miguel always playing the Knight Civilizations and Dogao the Archers. That's how they always done it. And Yo, Persians. And Lyx, Ethiopians. So also no surprises there. Lyx going for the Archers and Yo playing the Cavalry.
Alright. Getting a question here in the chat. Where is Django from? So, you're from Germany, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, I'm from Germany, but I speak obviously English and also fluent Spanish. So.
Is that so?
Sí, es verdad, yo hablo español. Podemos castellano en español si quieres.
Wow, man. Wow, that is so good. Well done. By the way, the guys are pausing the game 10 seconds away from 5 minutes into the game. I think they might have thought they could have restarted until 5 minutes. Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah, my granddad, he has a Spanish passport. He's not from Spain, but he bought a flat there 60 years ago when he was 20, and he always lived there most of the time. So yeah, that's why I basically grew up with Spanish culture and friends and family, yada yada. So I grew up with Spanish.
Muy bien, muy bien. Muy buen español también.
Gracias.
Fantastic. Okay, so by the way, since you're in Germany, and I know that it's not like Germany is a small place or anything, but I'm just kind of curious. Do you expect to maybe attend Red Bull if they enable audiences, maybe?
I'm not sure if I'm going there. Okay, so now everybody in the chat is going to hate me, but I'm probably the only person in the world who's not super hyped about it because I cannot play in it, and I would love to play both in 2 and 4, and I cannot. Like I can't do what I want, and yeah, it's like I don't know. I'm just I maybe gonna cast it, but. We see.
Yeah, I imagine it might be discouraging. Fair point. Fair point.
It's just really frustrating when you work towards a goal and like full time and everything and playing, and then it's not really working out at all because of your physical ability. Like I just can't hold the mouse for longer than 10 minutes until my hand explodes. Basically, it hurts so much, and it's like that's really disturbing, obviously, but. Yeah, whatever. maybe I'm going there just for fun. I'm
Yeah.
going to cast.
Yeah,
But
that'd be pretty good.
yeah, we will see. I mean, I'm not gonna.
Sure.
It's long time still to that, so I'm not sure how the wrist will be until then. We'll see. So right now, once we're talking and we're watching the game, I'm holding the mouse with my left hand, so I cannot even do that with the right hand.
Right. Have you tried one of the vertical ones? I'm not really sure if that will help
Yeah,
at
it doesn't change anything.
all. Okay.
Yeah, sadly, it doesn't change anything.
Okay.
I basically took the Viper treatment. I did everything that's out
Right.
there. Vertical mouse, small mouse, big mouse, taping the wrist, shoulder fixing.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Whatever I do, after 2 games, I cannot feel my fingers, and it's just not fun.
Yeah. I would imagine, man. Well, there is certainly love coming here your way as well in the chat. I see too. So
Yeah, I don't want to be like super sad or anything. It's just
it's all good.
Let's go back to the game. It's fine.
Sure. Not too much to cover until now anyway. Only now the players are getting to the fuel age, so we'll start to see some action very soon though in any case. The guy's getting the barracks already up and he'll be the one going for archers. He already has his gold miners and so does Lyx. Yeah. Wait. Lyx actually doesn't. He's just gonna use what he gets.
The TC.
There we go.
Yeah. He places TC on the gold mine. I mean, I see an argument here to go for an archer rush because archers can potentially damage those wilds on the respective woodlines, but I don't see a big argument for scouts here because you can just put up. I mean, if you combine archers with, yeah, I guess you have to go for scouts as well because if you don't, the other team is gonna have too much pressure on your wood lines. Yeah, okay, makes sense. So it's gonna be super standard, Arabia-like-ish play, scouts and archers. And obviously, what's super important here is castle age timings. Especially guarding archers, Britons and Ethiopians. Whoever of them two hits castle age first, gonna be really hard then to play against their respective crossbows if you're still in fuel age with archers. So that's super important.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm noticing also that Miguel has not gone for a barracks, which is usually standard to do with Khmer, but can potentially backfire because he won't be able to add spearmen into the mix.
Yeah, but the players are quite close together. So if there are spearmen from Yo, it's pretty easy for dogao to send some archers over. And also, like, look at the farm discrepancy. We have 5 farms for Miguel, while Yo just placed 3. And you have to imagine it's also Khmer farm, so he's gonna get the food faster than the Persian player. So also, on the horizon, I can see Miguel being way faster to Castle Age, or respectively being faster to those upgrades, Forging, Bloodlines, or the armor upgrade, and that can hurt a lot.
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting point because Miguel and Dogao are significantly closer to each other compared to Mr. Yo and Lyx. That can make a difference. And, well, Mr. Yo already is providing some scouts over here for Lyx to defend himself, and while Miguel was trying to put some pressure, doesn't really have too much going on over here. About 3 scouts. We have the 2 archers from Dogao, but I think Wildfire should be able to defend over here with the defender's advantage.
Yeah, but they already lost access to one of the wood piles for Lyx, so you had to shift all the wilds away from there. And scout numbers are looking better for Dogao and Miguel. Archer numbers are looking even, but scout numbers are already up for the Khmer player. And that's not too great.
Yeah. I like to see also Lyx. He managed to get the lumber camp over there completely walled off. And that's interesting to see him go over there, supposed to go in, for instance, for a defensive tower, which we have seen be the case also in these maps next to the wood line if you don't have the TC immediately next to it. So now Lyx is sending some villagers back to it. If he's ever going to go for it, I imagine it's probably going to be sometime soon.
Yeah, also I would be a big fan of placing both lumber camps on the same, just one on the one side and one on the other, and then you make a tower and you can defend it really easily. I don't see an argument to split up the wood lines. I mean, I don't know. I haven't played it, but that was something that came to my mind. Because one way easier to defend one spot than two.
Yeah. Fair point. There we go. HP pool is looking a little bit better over here for White Wolf Palace. Of course, there is nothing that's going to force Miguel and Dogao to take the engagement, so they can just bail or try to wait for their own reinforcements, and we're gonna see more scouts coming over from Miguel, more archers coming over from Dogao, and it's actually really close. Now, it seems like that, yeah, Lumbercamp's getting hit once again by the archers, or at the very least, the villagers are getting pushed away.
Great damage. Also already 2 villagers ahead, Dogao and Miguel. Now Bloodlines already in for Miguel. And that's what you talked about. The Khmer player just faster with the wilds on gold. The blacksmith also up for both players, but already Bloodlines in. And now also defense upgrade, and they're just gonna start pushing really heavily, while Yo maybe thinks about flirting with Castle Age a little bit more. Can potentially hurt a lot once those upgrades now come in. They are going to look for fights now.
There we are, and they are still looking pretty good, although many of the scouts over here are kind of out of position. They do go after the villagers, though. That's going to be a villager going down, and the other villagers getting pushed away towards the TC, and that's still a scary amount of scouts, man.
Bloodlines in armor, while Yo is now taking the armor upgrade, and they take the fight now. And look at those scouts, they just clean house. Wow.
Completely, man. That wasn't even close. That's a fantastic niche left as well for the Gauss archers to work out of. This is really good for the Gale so far.
Yeah, and also remember that Dogao is playing Britons, so if they trade archers 1-for-1, that's better for the Briton player because he is producing archers faster.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. And you also want to try and minimize Lyx's faster attacking, you know, bonus as much as you can too.
Yeah, tower not going up now. Wow, 6 villages already difference. That's big.
There we are. It seems like finally White Wolf Pass will be able to push these units away. Miguel just walks away and leaves Dogao to die. There's not too much he would have been able to do anyway, so minimizing losses over here. But they've already done good damage, and interestingly enough, even with these units going down from, you know, from the Gale, they are still ahead overall in population.
Yeah, now he's shifting. He's shifting the 4 scouts coming from one side and 4 scouts from the other side, so he's splitting up Yo's focus, already taking down one will, and he's gonna come with the scouts on the other side, or maybe he's gonna put them together in one big group. But still, he's like, Miguel is playing really good this game. Insane performance by him.
Completely agreed. I do like it too as well. Scatter the units up at first as you approach and try to cover as much ground as possible, so you maximize your chances of finding something vulnerable. Then you can group them up so that you are able to fight against your opponent's big defensive armies.
A little bit miscommunication though, from Miguel and Dogao. Dogao's archers are out of position. Yes, they killed Wills. He's losing them to the scouts of Yo now, who's also taking bloodlines. Miguel now coming in, and already most of the archers are dead. Now Lyx trying to push forward there in the base of Dogao.
Doing a good job as well. And Dogao was able to defend his villagers, but on the left hand side he does end up losing all the archers, so he doesn't really have too much pressure forward anymore. However, take a look at Dogao right now. He's on his way to the castle age already.
Yeah, and also look at the food count and the resources from Miguel. Almost able to click up to Castle Age. 20 farmers. Yo, also 22 farmers, but that's just the power of Khmer. You don't build that barracks. You get out the farms earlier. You get the way better farming bonus long term. Like, Persians only producing this fast is not that great.
There we go. Alright, so both players going up to the castle age already, while Mr. Yo and Lyx, they are trying to keep on putting more pressure. That's a lot of scouts, man. I think that's going to be enough to take on Lyx.
Yeah, that's for sure enough. For sure. And also, like, these scouts are not bad once Miguel is into Castle Age. You can just do the Light Cav upgrade, which is also really good because you can imagine someone is placing a monastery and adding monks. And you can still snipe plenty of wills there with the Light Cav.
Oh boy. Mr. Yo, though, managed to get some villagers down on the left-hand side around Miguel's base. And well, Wild Palace, understandably, they are getting ahead right now in worker count simply because they have been producing villagers while the guild's been going up. And now it seems like they'll be able to go up to the castle age themselves too. This moment we have right now coming up, 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes, that the guild's gonna be in the castle age faster compared to Wild Palace. That's a perfect opportunity for them to take advantage of the extra upgrades, go forward, and try to put as much pressure as humanly possible.
Well, yes, Yo is up to Castle Edge, but Lyx hasn't even clicked yet. Lyx hasn't even clicked yet, and he's gonna face Britain crossbows with 8 range. Imagine that Dogao is gonna heavily push for ballistics, and then it's gonna be almost impossible for Lyx to defend from that.
At the same time though, Lyx is bringing the archers over here, and Dogao's crossbows are all going forward to fight against Mr. Yo instead.
Yeah, but can he find a lot of kills? 1 kill?
It's going to be 2. There we go. Gets 3 villagers, and oh boy, that's already going to be 4, and make that 5, and should be able to get 6 over here. He might get greedy, but he managed to get 5. That's still pretty decent.
And on the other side, Yo's defending actually pretty good. Great move from Lyx. Realizing that there was an open window. Could use.
Yeah, completely agreed. And now, there we go. What you were saying, we have light cavalry over here, so this should be very one-sided. As the guild, they got light cavalry plus crosses over here, more villagers going down. The scouts over there get pushed away, as now Mr. Yo is trying to have them get upgraded to light cavalry as well, too.
Yeah, no +2 yet, though, for Miguel. Maybe 40 clicked it, but he hasn't. He doesn't have the upgrade, while Yo is making +2. And if Miguel doesn't realize that, that can be a really big disadvantage long term.
Yeah, we have seen this actually happen in one of the games before. I think like 2 days ago in the last series we had. One team actually lost because one player forgot about chain bar and armor.
Yeah, hopefully Miguel doesn't. Just at the moment he doesn't have the rest for it, so maybe he just is that factor. Also, Lyx trying to saving his archers on the right is really important. He saves those. There's 11 archers, half of his army. Crossbow Botkin now going through 30 seconds, but he's probably gonna get catched.
Yeah, most likely. These knights, if they do not end up taking the archers down, at the very least they will slow them down enough for Dogao's archers to catch up. Plus Dogao in 35 seconds will have ballistics too.
Yeah, beautiful. That's a really big loss for Lyx. Half of his army going down here. That's something he couldn't afford. He overstayed. The move to go to Dogao's base and killing wilds was good, but then he overstayed. He was too long in there, and then he lost his army. Now, as this is the moment which obviously really good for Lyx, that he also gets to click ballistics, but still you're playing against 8 range, Britain, crossbows with ballistic. That just never feels good, even if you're Ethiopians, even if you're Mayans. There's a reason why Britain's is the #1 pick when it comes to archer civ.
Yeah, completely. If you micro your units properly with the extra range, you should never take bad engagements because you're just fighting where your opponent cannot range you. And they've done a really good job with it so far. So, do you see a comeback path over here for Wild Palace somehow?
I mean, if they come back, it's always been historically through Mr. Yo. But Yo's also struggling. Miguel is already on his 2nd TC. He's trying to rate him a little bit, but Dogao also on his 2nd TC now. Using the Britain cheap bonus there. Yeah, maybe it's on Yo's back and Lyx just playing his usual 5, 6, 7 archer range castle age, and somehow Yo can run away with the game again with Persians. That's the only way, and he's doing a great job in Miguel's base at the moment.
He's managed to find a bunch of villagers over here so far. And at the very least, Miguel's got one of the strongest civilizations to hold on against these pushes because he can garrison inside houses, so you don't even need to have the villagers go to the TC. But that's still going to be very disruptive as Mr. Yo idles a lot of Miguel's economy. So while he might not be losing as many villagers, he's still getting hurt in economy quite a bit too.
Yeah, and Yo, as we said, +2 armor in. Miguel still doesn't have it, but Dogao, I just fear Britons will just take over this game. Like in the last game, they come back where Yo played really amazing. Yo was ahead of both players, but now he's, and also in that game Miguel was really dead, but now both players, dogao and Miguel, have the same amount of economy as Yo+Lyx is super far behind, so it's gonna be really hard for WWP to come back in this one.
Yeah, we have some camels coming over from Mr. Yo, and the gal retains a good amount of archers over here. He's got an up to 24, and as you were saying, Britons are super good, so they do retain their lead. It seems like they are actually being able to expound onto it, and it's really difficult to be in Mr. Yo's position because you gotta make a choice. Do you go for? Do you try and raid? Do you try to provide the meat shield for your ally to work out of as well? What do you do, right? He sent the knights forward and he did damage, but then at the same time, he allows dogao and Miguel to mass a huge amount of units again.
Yeah, in all these fights right now, they're pretty good for dogao and Miguel. If they trade evenly, because they have the better economy setup, also with the 2 TCs. So those are fine. And now finally the +2 armor is coming in for Miguel, so now fights should be way easier for them as well. But Yo is doing the right thing. Go forward with your knights and try to raid, try to do some damage in some form through idling, killing some wilds. This is the only way you're coming back into this game. There's no other way, and he's doing like Yo. He played so many games in the spot. He exactly knows what to do, and it's so crazy. He finds those windows. Like if I would play in the same spot, I would be always with my knights glued to my base or to my archer player, and I would not find the windows. But Yo somehow finds the windows, and also he's really good at not losing the raiding units and somehow cycling them back to his main army or still getting value out of them. Like it's so insane to watch Yo play. It's just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, not everyone can do that. Actually, that's one of the things that I really liked about Hera as a player as well, and it's also a trait that's present in some of the players such as Mr. Yo, that you can keep your units alive when you're sending them forward to raid, as opposed to just sending them forward and leaving them to die, right?
Yeah. Look at the army count now, 50 to 35. And the villager count is almost even again. Is the 1 TC obviously from both WWP players realizing they were really far behind and they only can win through army, and they're doing exactly that. Knights are coming in again on the TC, look.
Yeah. Oh god, he's going to find more villagers. This is really good. While we might still have a worker lead for the Gale, they had to pay for those extra villagers and the extra TCs and the extra farms. If Mr. Yo can get enough damage to even catch up in worker count, that's going to be a lot of wasted resources for the Gale, and is going to leave White Wolf Palace on the same villager count while still enjoying a much higher military count.
Yo is just playing so fantastic. Knights appearing somewhere, killing some wilds, disappearing again in the fog of war, appearing on another spot, and it seems like Miguel just can't keep up with it. Now he's attacking a house, probably a misclick, or I don't know, and now he's losing the knights, that's bad. But before that he was doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, the gal's been also trying to save the resource to go up to the Imperial Age. That can change the game once again with Britain Arbalesters. Well, that's certainly going to be quite disruptive too. But they gotta survive, man.
Lyx in the base of dogao. Knights there though.
There we go, yeah.
I mean, Arbalest is really rough, obviously, yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Yo kept on putting pressure against Miguel as well, and still 15 extra workers right now for the Gale. They're going up to, they have one player going up to the Imperial Age. They're still under a lot of pressure, and we have, you know, very close to twice the military count for White Wolf Palace.
Yeah, obviously Lyx also, as I said, the classic Lyx, falling super far behind for some reason and then playing 5 archery ranges with 5 farms and just full YOLO crossbows. That's the standard Lyx. Like, you see that so often, and usually Yo booms and makes knights. This time they were too far behind, so he was forced also to play 1 TC, but the army numbers are just so insane. Holy shit.
Completely, man. Mr. Yo keeps on putting pressure on the left. Now we have a few archers over here for dogao to defend his ally with, but it shouldn't be too much, so yeah, Mr. Yo should be able to handle that easily. And then on the right hand side, he still has enough knights to provide support to Lyx, so I think he's got enough over here to try and target a TC over here. He could potentially get the MTC if he targeted it.
And I think he doesn't have It's not quite not enough knights for that. But still, look at Dogao. He's arriving in Imp with 4 crossbows. Like, what did you click Imp for? For nothing.
Yeah.
Like, they played too greedy. I think going for 2 TCs for both players was already quite greedy, but I was like, okay, that's like kind of fine. But going Imp as well, you know how they play. It's the same like last time. You know how they play and you still didn't learn your lesson out of the last game. Same thing like last game. Too greedy, too much on eco base, and WWP just pressing forward and killing them and punishing them for that. And now, how you come back? Like, it's really hard. More builds for WWP. Almost 4 times amount of army. Miguel losing TCs.
Exactly, was just talking about the potential for double the army. At one point, just a minute ago, we had 5 times as much for Rival Palace, and it's just patrol forward, man. It doesn't even require too much micro, given the amount of units they have.
Crazy. Again, WWP somehow being so far behind, or like being quite behind and still pulling off a victory. Like, it's insane. That's crazy.
Yeah. Absolutely fantastic, really well played. The writing's on the wall right now. Even though the Gauss got into the Imperial Age, it's going to take a much larger amount of arbalesters than this for them to come back, especially as Miguel is pretty much dead right now, going down to 20 villagers and lower.
Yeah, dogao with 66, but I mean, you want to have your knight play on a lot of eco because knights cost a lot of eco, while archers are not really that eco heavy. As you can see with Lyx, only 55 wills, but on how many ranges? Like 5 ranges the whole game. Pumping out units, 50 crossbows for him.
Absolutely. There you go. Well, Miguel's gone down to 8 villagers. There is no way. The Gal's gotta win against 2 players over here, and I'm not really sure if he will be able to take on his own against a single player, to be honest.
I mean, he would win against single players, but the issue is also he's playing archers or like arbalest. You're not killing TCs with that. You're not getting rid of Yo raiding you constantly. You have to stay at your base. You have no mobility, and Yo's just gonna keep on raiding you, and Lyx is gonna keep on raiding you, and then you need a castle for traps, so you need to tech into cap drams, and it just takes you way too much time to do that. And you know, Yo realized the situation perfectly. He knows, now we killed, now we are ahead, now it's time to boom, adding 3 TCs with Persians. He's just gonna boom up so fast because he played a long time 1 TC. He has the eco development for 3 TCs with Persians now, and he will be so fast up to a really good worker number.
Yeah, correct. In Dogao, instead, he's gonna try to expand his economy also as well, but it's going to be significantly harder.
Miguel doesn't even have a TC, you know what? He doesn't have a TC. He has 8 wills, no town center. Like, I don't know. Like, not even Jesus would win this game, man.
Man, where are the villagers actually? They could go down. He could get defeated over here. Where are the villagers? Okay, on the wood line. Some on the gold. Some on the farms. Perfect. Now we see chemistry coming up as well for the Gao, so that's, well, pretty good, but I would probably expect him to have gone for that as soon as he got to the Imperial Age, so this is just a realization that he's not even maxed out for the units he's got.
Yeah, not even close, like 30 arbalests, it's not enough. And again, like even if he starts heavily winning fights, are you gonna kill Lyx? Okay, whatever, then Yo is gonna have 140 wills and Persian Knights that deal bonus damage against archers, and he's going up to him, making Cavalier and kill you. Or, okay, I'm trying to run to Yo, he's gonna defend and still be good, and then Lyx is free to go to Imp. Like, it doesn't matter, it's just, you can't catch up anymore, and Miguel is never ever in this game going to play a factor again on 6 wills.
Man, the
like, no TC.
Yeah, he sent the resources to Miguel. I think Miguel might not have had enough to go for the TC on his own, I think. Not 100% sure, but yeah, it's gone down to 6 villagers even.
Yo is also making a castle now in his base. Might be a doubt castle as the Arbalest run over there 33. But it's so hard to think about a potential scenario in which dogao can actually carry this. He might be. He's dogao. I mean, he's one of the best players of this game, so he might be able to do it. But man, if he does it, like Player of the Year award.
That'll be the equalizer for him because we had in a previous series Miguel actually bring the game back when dogao was dead on a different map.
Yeah, but Yo up to Imperial Age now with Persians.
Yeah, that's the only thing that we were missing for Wild Pal. Somebody go out to the Imperial Age and then this Arbalester lead is kinda gone. The Persian Cavalier or potentially Paladin with 2 bonus damage against archers can be pretty good. And of course, if Lyx managed to go up to the Imperial Age, he could have tried to equalize for Arbalesters, even without quite as much range though.
I mean, dogao's doing a lot of damage and he's also taking into coinage banking, so he can sling back. Miguel. It's so hard to imagine a world in which... I mean, if dogao is pulling it off, like... That's the Player of the Year performance. Like, that would be so crazy insane.
Oh man, you definitely gotta watch the other one because it was almost like that. Actually, I think it was exactly like this. One player was down to single digits and the other player managed to bring it back. That was one of the craziest games I saw in the tournament. If we could see something like that here again, I would just lose my mind for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably lose my mind as well. But look at Yo, he's smart. He's sacrificing some villagers and he's realizing it's not the time to use my knights to fight those arbalists. Wait for him, wait for the last armor upgrade, wait for the cavalier and then fight. Yeah, I'm losing some villagers here and there, but it's fine. I still got 73, I have the Persian TCs, and as long as I keep my army numbers up, I can clear those arbalists and then we are gonna be super fine. So that's 100% the correct move that Yo is doing here. Now he's going forward onto that gold for Miguel, trying to secure that with a castle, while poor Miguel wants to make a TC there. Little does he know.
Yeah. There is no way, man. There is no way. Miguel's gonna go down to 9 villages again. He's going for elephants. Okay. What?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think... I don't know. Lyx is also up to Imp going for Elite Skirm, obviously, because there are no Knights or anything other out there. Skirms are fine. Usually you never see them in a team game because the combination of Archers and Knights are usually like the go-to because they're just the best units. But if there are no Knights, well, then the Skirms obviously do really well against the Arbalest or Crossbows or whatever. So also correct decision making here from Lyx. Yo up, last armor in, Cavaliers in, Castle is up. At Miguel's base.
There we go. We should see that TC. I think it's going to survive between the elephants and the arbalesters should be fine. Although, is he yeah, he's going to bail. But yeah, Lyx is already on the right hand side, putting pressure on dogao. Dogao doesn't really have any defensive units over here. He might end up taking a little bit of extra damage. However, he does have 2 fairly big groups of arbalesters down south though.
Yeah, but again, those Arbalests are great at killing some wilds here and there, but they just can't kill any structures. They're not killing TCs and stuff. They can't really reliably even fight under TCs and towers because they're just falling so fast. And look at Miguel's base. He's just getting demolished again by Yo.
Yeah.
Bullied.
Completely. Now Lyx got the skirmishers indeed. Well, I'm really sure then dogao's bulk of his army is on the back of Lyx's base, taking a few villagers for sure, but you know, this actually, it is kind of like the previous game as you were saying. I'm not really sure why Mr. Yo is focusing so heavily on Miguel when dogao's getting so much done.
I mean, they just... Because dogao alone is no threat. Like, the Arbalest player when both of the other players are an imp is not a threat. Because you can just play Elite Skirm against it from one player and the Cavalier are killing them. He can't keep up with the pace. So actually, like, dogao is not a threat. If dogao would have Halberdier as well, or even Halbs, like, you're still losing to Skirms. It's so hard for an Arbalest player to solo carry a game if both other players are in imp as well. If you're the only player
Right.
that has arbalest and you're an imp, you start adding traps and you're on the push, then it's really hard to stop you. But in this scenario, it's almost impossible for him to establish a push, and he can't be everywhere with his slow army, and you can see it. Like, Yo's just running everywhere with Cavalier killing stuff, and yeah, those arbalests, they need to stay together, and you never can push TCs reliably.
Yeah, that makes sense. Last time around it was Mr. Yo playing with Cavalier once he got up to the Imperial, so it does make sense. Well, then it's only a matter of time. Wobble Palace over here, it's only paperwork for them to win this game. They just gotta surprise dogel enough so that they finally call it, but the writing's on the wall already quite clearly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just time thing now. Skirms have all upgrades now, except chemistry, which is coming in for FlyLikeDjango as well. So, like, dogao is gonna take bad trades against the Skirms. The Cavalier, as we mentioned, Persians, even with the bonus damage, they're gonna add up as well, and they both are on. No, Lyx adding his third as well. Yo is on 3 TCs, so he would also have to kill a lot of villages, and he's busy even taking out the army. He's not even attacking anymore. He's just defending right now. Like, he's not on the attack anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Miguel's is dying still. He's still going for extra TCs and whatnot, but he struggled to even get past 20 villagers again.
Yeah, he will never be more than like 30 versus this game. There's no way.
I would love to see Mr. Yo try and divert as few units as possible to keep on pushing against Miguel. He already has a trebuchet, so he can take the TCs down. He doesn't need a substantial amount of Cavalier, just enough so that he can defend the siege. And then send the rest forward so they can finally suppress dogao, especially with the castle dogao's going for.
Yo went just looking, he stopped making wills and stopped making Cavalier to click Paladin now, which is even like the difference between Cavalier and Paladin is so significant.
Yeah.
And yeah, he just looked for that Paladin click. And it's in now in 2 minutes, and latest when dogao and Miguel see the Paladin, they will probably resign, because like there's no answer to that unit.
Yeah, I would imagine. No switch to Halberdier or anything like that for dogao, just pure Arbalister, so it's not going to cut it. And we have production of Cavalier coming up once again for Mr. Yo, so by the time he gets to Paladin, it's probably gonna be on, I would say, 30 or so Paladin already to work with.
Yeah, and again, like, there's no siege from dogao. So while he is in a, like, he's doing an insane game. He's at 93 arbalest. Absolutely sick, right? But he's just missing the siege to push. And killing wilds or killing enemy military units at this point is not enough to bring you back into the game. You need to wipe bases and substantially not only kill like some eco, some units, you need to kill the infrastructure, the farms, the buildings as well to really make a significant impact right now. And he just can't do that.
Even cat ramps would have been so much better over here with the skirmishers over here. Actually, defend Lyx so well. But
yeah, I think cap rams is the attack he should have gone for, but it like no blame on him, because it was even hard to like stay in that spot. Now Paladin are there, and then like, he's just gonna get wiped.
That should be a GG coming up very soon. We have several groups of Paladin, and there we go.
Yeah, and there's the GG. Yeah, I'm really surprised that they even managed to hold on that long. I mean, the performance from dogao in this game was really, really sick. But again, like in the last game, they were ahead. They were the team who could easily win that game, and they played too greedy, some wrong decision makings, and then WWP is gonna punish you. They're an excellent team. Also, Yo and Lyx played together for so long, and they developed a style. And if you make a mistake and you give them the small finger, they're gonna cut your head off. Like, that's how WWP plays. You can't give them an inch. You just can't.
Yeah. 2 games already. Wild Pass getting away with it. We're gonna see a very nice KD actually for Mr. Yo, which is really good and sort of to be expected. You kind of need to have a good KD if you're going for a pricey unit to see what's going for. Lyx, on the other hand, did not manage to get quite 1-to-1, but on average, WWP managed to end up getting much better traits overall. I would say significantly higher than 1-to-1 on average. And if you take a look at the timeline too, you can see the point in military count where WWP was able to start dominating over here, and it was the point that dogao got to the Imperial Age, of course. Before that, it was pretty even. He clicks out to the Imperial Age, starts losing everything, and from that point onwards, it was pretty much paperwork.
Yeah, he arrived in imp before crossbows, and that's the issue. Same when you click when you arrive to castle age and you lose your archers. To the biggest impact the archer player has is when he arrives into the next age before everybody else, and he takes respectively crossbow bodkin or arbalest bracer chemistry. And if you're the single player in that age with those techs, that's when those units are the strongest. The longer it goes, the more people that arrive into Castle Age and make the attacks like +2 or Cavalier +4, your crossbows or respectively arbalests are getting significantly weaker. And he couldn't use that window of being in the Imperial Age because he only had 4 crossbows coming into that Imperial Age. That was the biggest problem.
Yeah.
If he arrives in Imp with 30 plus crossbows, I think dogao+miguel can win this game.
Yeah, that was the case in the span of what is this? Let me see, 35 minutes to 41. In the span of 6 minutes, he went from 40 crossbows down to 4 by the time he actually got to the Imperial Age. That made all the difference in the world.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so we'll play. Let's take a look. Given that now there is only one home map left for the Gale, we know exactly what map to expect. Yeah, for sure. So the game's already up. I'm already in about 27, 8, 9,
yeah, I'm
30.
on live. All good.
Okay,
yeah, just
perfect.
On full live gameplay.
And well, I think what you were saying is quite on point as well. It does align very well with what we have seen so far before on this map. Usually it is the case that the flank players are gonna try to contest water first, and then they make a transition into archers later, especially in the Castle Age onwards when they are trying to start contesting the first crossing in between both flanks.
Yeah. And Vikings was chosen for both of them, so kind of a Viking mirror. And then we have Poles against Malians. And it's interesting because Malians is like super good, obviously, because of the cheaper buildings with wood. Get out the fishing ships faster and stuff. And also, if you play a straight up 1v1 against a Poles player, Malians can always add in camels. So that's pretty interesting as well to think about. If both Grush players are still in feudal and they play water and the other 2 guys play knights, and then Malians have the opportunity to add in camels.
Yes, Malians with wood discount as well, they could potentially, if pressed to do so, they could potentially go for Navy, and that's not going to be quite as straightforward for Poles. So I'm kind of wondering over here, if do you think maybe Miguel will try to play out of dogao, just have dogao defend the water, and just try to play for maybe something like a fast castle into knight kind of push into center control maybe?
That's what I was referring to when I spoke. Like I don't see the pocket player here, so Miguel and Yo play water because you think where they will place their dogs. The amount of time the ships need to travel to reach the opponent is just too long. So there's no really point in playing water for both of them. Like it just doesn't make sense because the amount of time it takes you to get to the other side is too long for a payoff, right?
Yeah.
So there's 2 options. You either play scouts or you play fast castle knights. And this map is quite like it's quite easy to wall actually. So I don't really see the big argument for playing scouts. So I would expect to play FC Knights, but if they open scouts, it's not a mistake. But then, obviously, if the other player plays FC Knights, then the scouts need to do something, make some damage.
Yeah.
Going on water as pocket here, like obviously for fish, yeah, but for aggression, no.
how big of an impact would you say the nerf of Schlachter privileges has had since in the last patch it's gone up in cost quite a bit?
I mean, it's the pulse tech, right? It's the tech that wins you the game. Like, if you get that thing and you get those like super cheap knights going, like you can overrun even pike armies and camel armies and everything. So it has quite a significant impact if it's getting up in cost. Also, you have to remember you need to make a castle for it, which in a hectic, aggressive game is not easy as well. So yeah, I think all in all, making that thing more expensive was really good, because I had some 1v1 games where I just closed up my map, I just boomed on 3TCs, made a castle, I made that tech and just overrun the opponents with ease. So making that harder to get to is obviously good, but you have to remember it's a team game, 2v2, so it's gonna be even harder to get to it.
Right. So on that premise, would you say that then Mr. Yo should probably try and put as much pressure early on as possible to try and prevent Miguel from getting to the castle age, or would you prefer him to fast castle himself as well and start putting pressure, maybe combining some camels or monks and siege into the mix?
Yeah, I think fast castle is just the way to go.
All right. Okay. Well, Lyx is going out to
and
the
you can
field
already
already.
see that. Yeah, obviously the flanks not right. Flanks play galleys because you need to keep those fishing ships alive. It's providing you a boatload of a lot of eco, so that's a must. But oh, actually, Lyx is having some completely else in mind. He didn't even dock. Oh. We talked about so many things and we didn't realize that Lyx hasn't docked. And
Right.
he's sending. Yeah, I mean, why am I trying to analyze games when Lyx is in the game? Like, it doesn't. Why am I trying to think about what makes sense and what's the meta gameplay when there's Lyx and he's just like, yeah, Django, you know what? Fuck you and your expertise. I'm just gonna do something completely different. He's like, yeah, you don't know. You're expert Omega Lul. He's just Omega Lulling me. So yeah. Lyx has something else in mind.
Yeah, notice he's got 2 villages going forward already, and does he have a barracks up or no? It seems like he's going for the barracks and the archer range 4 right away. Interesting. Oh, nothing like land at all. He's going for 2 sneaky dogs actually. Wow. Well. We'll see. I need to find the reset button for Django. Give me a moment, guys.
I mean, it's Lyx, so I'm not gonna say anything about it and just say if it works, cool, but it should never ever in a million years work. And also, he doesn't have fishing ships, so he's just immediately behind 4 vills behind dogao, or more even if they choose to add more fishing ships. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. You're gonna lack food to click fletching on those galleys because you don't have the fishing ships. So either your blacksmith is later or you're lacking the food to click fletching.
Yeah, that's the case.
Yeah, it's just Lyx things. I mean, if it works, cool, but it should in theory never ever work. I mean, maybe he can get the 2 galleys and get Miguel's fish. That can be the win condition here. Get those galleys, sneak them, and kill Miguel's fish, and then Yo can... Again, Lyx is kind of killing himself, and then Yo can take over the game with fish. Yeah, that's the only way they are winning, and he's doing exactly that. Yeah, that's the only way, and it's brilliant. I mean, then, yeah, insane, I guess.
Alright, there we go. So that's already 1 fish. Then all of these should be going down. He's got 3 dogs, so he can keep on going for more, and he can surround the ones that are trying to sail away. So he's taking these for sure, which is going to leave Miguel behind compared to Mr. Yo. Mr. Yo is already almost going up to the castle. It's just waiting for the market and the blacksmith. So it makes sense, especially because it's going to take a while before dogao is able to push against Lyx on land if he's not going to be able to fight them on water, right? Lyx is already completely walled up.
I'm so mind-blown about dogao scouting. He knew that Lyx didn't have a dock, and he didn't look for a sneak of wills, for an archer range. He saw he was walled up, So the only two options are either the sneak dogs, which is really unlikely, or the archer range. And he didn't scout for either of that between the two players. They didn't scout for that in between them two. It's like, I'm so much, you're playing against Lyx. I mean, yeah, it's really, really, really crazy what he did. But like, if you don't see a dog and you don't see a range, well, yeah, he's gonna have sneak dogs, I guess, right?
Yeah, I'm just so curious as to what the voice chat was looking like for them, but well, Mysterio is getting away with this now. He's gonna be in the castle age very soon. He already has a barrack, so he can start going for stables if he wants to.
Yeah, and actually Miguel went for the scout approach, so he kills 1 or 2 builds here now. I don't know why Yo chose to make the barracks outside, also doesn't really make a lot of sense. But yeah, whatever. He made the barracks on the outside, so he's paying for that with some builds.
Yeah, that's the first stable coming up though. I would definitely have liked for him to start going for this a little bit sooner if possible, so that he would at the very least be able to go for Castle Age upgrades right away. So maybe get Bloodlines before he gets to the Castle Age and scale Bar than Armor, so that once he gets to the Castle Age he can go for Chain Bar than Armor, and that makes his knights pretty resilient even against DC fire.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the eco for it, Nova. And also now look, Miguel Dogao sailed through, and now he's gonna kill Yo's fish. And Yo doesn't have a single farm place. So yeah, Yo arrives into Castle Age, congratulations, but you cannot even make 4 knights. Because no upgrades, because you just don't have the eco for it. So while Lyx's idea of placing those 3 dogs was really great and he killed the fish, yeah, that's cool, but they didn't manage to keep alive Yo's fish, and at the end, the Castle Age with 27 villages doesn't really do a whole lot for them right now. He's adding the workshop, he's adding the monastery, so he's gonna go all out. And look at Miguel, he's realizing the situation. This time, they don't want to make bad decision makings against WWP. He's just gonna stonewall, and I think this is just a correct play.
It's
just
pretty
stonewall,
good.
be safe.
Yeah, and Mysterio actually, because he was able to take advantage of the fishing ships for much longer compared to Miguel, actually paid off. I was taking a look at the gather economy time, and Mysterio right now, he's got a higher gather economy time compared to anybody else. So, especially against Miguel, that's exactly what allows him to go for this kind of forward push with the Siege Workshop and the Monastery. Those are extra resources he's managed to get so far.
Yeah, that's amazing, but obviously he has only 6 farms now. He actually did horse color, so he knew he maybe have to switch on farms. But on the other hand, we have 12 farms from Miguel, and they're all around Folkwalk, so obviously getting the bonus there. And he's also up to Castle Age, and the farm development, which is a really important factor here. 12 farms, it's looking better for Miguel. So if he can hold a little bit into the Castle Age, then he should be able to repush it. But the question is just, can he hold it for that long, or is Yo getting inside the base, and then obviously he can do damage.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely would have liked to see Mr. Yo send the monk forward already, so at the very least he would have been able to zone those villagers away, because it's been fairly straightforward for Miguel to get the stone walls up, and it's delayed Mr. Yo's push quite a bit.
Yeah, and also dogao, as we said, because of the fletching timing, Lyx could never, because of he didn't make a dock in Dark Age, right? So he could never afford fletching, so it was pretty easy win for dogao on water. And now dogao clicking up to the Castle Age again, while Lyx hasn't clicked yet. So also advantage there for dogao and Miguel.
Yeah, he's got more numbers as well. Lyx, after losing those dogs, won't be able to keep on producing anymore, and he's got about 9 galleys only.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest difference is fletching going to make. Fletching, if you play galleys on water, one player is fletching and the other doesn't, you're always gonna lose. Like, even I, as a quote-unquote noob, could win then against a really good player, because it just makes such a big difference. And also, really well played for Miguel, managing to get the castle. And as we talked about, the win condition for Poles is that Sludger Privilege. One part of it, he already got the castle, now just needs enough resources for the technology.
Yeah, he's under a lot of pressure. Though that stable going down is going to leave him on 2 stables only, which I think Mr. Yo, soaping up his economy a little bit more, should be able to contest for production as well.
Yo on 1 stable. but obviously he was faster up, so he already has some knights out. Obviously the monks also really good for Yo, getting conversions. Now he's going for a kind of boom behind this push, which I like. He didn't go full, he went all in, make damage, force the stoneward, force the castle, do more damage, and now boom behind that, or make economy behind it. We see the bow sword, the heavy plow, and 3 TCs. That's pretty good, and also he established center control with it, which is quite important in the long run as well.
You know, man, this actually ended up working out quite well. Wild Palace, they are ahead in population overall, and Lyx was able to keep up also even with worker count. You take a look and compare that to Miguel or dogao's worker count, and it's about the same. Plus, he's got a forward stable over here already. Interesting. So we're gonna see double knight play. Okay.
Double now. Yeah, he's just gonna push with. He's gonna make a Wang push like Monk, Siege, and Knights, while dogao just added 3 TCs and is going to boom. And we saw it already in 2 games that dogao and Miguel got punished for being too greedy and adding too much eco, and now dogao is adding maybe a little bit too much eco. And also, what Miguel doesn't really want to make fishing ships now because he has the folkworks and the farms, and that's just better for poles. But obviously, dogao with the water control, he should start adding add fish again, which he's doing, which is really good. But can he hold that push? If he can defend, he's gonna boom away, and then probably gonna be a good game for them. Also, Slasher Privilege came in, if I'm correct.
Yes,
And
just came in.
Yeah, now he can make knights as well. I honestly, I think while population looks even and stuff, but I think the setup for Miguel and dogao with the Slasher Privilege is a little bit better. So I would prefer their spot right now. But I said that the last 2 games as well, and they lost. So what do I know? Apparently, I'm not an expert at this game.
Well, there is one big difference over here as well. That's the fact that Miguel, if he wants to push against Mr. Yo, he's got to push through the center, past the siege workshop and the monasteries, while Lyx is already putting pressure against dogao. He's already gonna manage to start targeting the TCs.
Yeah, but if you remember the last 2 maps they played, they
wait,
were super
down
open.
south! Sorry to cut you off! Check that out! The knights are coming over. They just landed over here with the transport ship. That is so good!
Wow, that's insanely well. That's such a good move that disrupts all the economy from Lyx. He doesn't have any units in his base. Needs to, yeah, basically, now brute force up that monastery. Which is the correct move, actually. Funnily enough, that's the correct move.
Yeah, I completely agree. He's already managed to get a few villagers down over here. This can make a difference, especially as Lyx just been playing greedy kind of for economy only, and he was getting close to having enough to go up to the Imperial Age. He's taking a lot of losses, and man, that's going to be 4 villagers going down for sure. And if he does not pay attention over here at all, it's going to end up losing a lot more. Yeah,
and funnily enough, if you look at Miguel's base, Yo wasn't paying attention as well, and he lost his 4 monks and all his knights because he didn't look. He lost all his forward push.
Oh man, that is disaster.
Yeah. Such a good move by dogao and Miguel. Now +2 coming in for them, and we talked about the setup for them. I would prefer that. Now the knights come over to stop the push from Lyx with the 2 mangonels. That's gonna work out. Those mangonels are not gonna stay up, and then it's a 3 TC setup, and obviously the Poles knights play combined with that. Looks pretty good for dogao and Miguel. Lyx is up to him though.
Yeah, extremely impactful. Landing over there for the yellow player. And he could potentially go for more as well, but it's not over chopped anymore, so he wouldn't be able to come in right away unless he's able to, or dogao is able to break through with one of the war galleys maybe.
Yeah, but on the other hand, something I want to point out again is Yo being on 3 TCs and booming. And we have seen the last 2 games, if you give Yo an inch and some eco, he will solo win the game for you. And yeah, I'm a little bit worried seeing the last 2 games that Yo is just gonna do this again. He might just pull it out a 3rd time.
There we go, castle coming forward for dogao at the center to try and get control of it. Well, with both Wild Pass players getting to the Imperial Age faster, this is going to be quite impactful on land because of the center control. Once again, each player is going to begin with only 6 golds each. So if you do manage to go up faster, for instance, get a hold of the center with a castle and get a head start to trebuchet production as well, you should be able to hold on to the center, and eventually your opponent's going to run out of resources.
Yeah, but the idea here for Miguel and dogao was Poles never going to imp, right? Like Poles just, they want to play in Castle Age because they lack their last armor for the night line.
Yeah.
So the longer you stay in Castle Age and push all in Castle Age with Poles, the better it is actually for you. But as we said, Yo, imp, and he can solo carry a game. We know that. Lyx is not gonna do anything. He has 49 wills, no military. His imp is just a, oh, I'm imp, yay. But
yeah, he's even getting pushed away from the center as well. So it seems like we're going to have one crossing per team, but that might not be the case in the long run. It's really going to depend on how Mr. Yo plays it on the right hand side, because Miguel is the one right now trying to get as much map control as possible. So if Mr. Yo suppresses him, that might give Lyx enough of a buffer for him to become relevant once again.
yep, that's true. Oh, even some Gibetto here in the mix, Lou.
Yeah, fantastic. We should see trebuchets coming out very soon, as Mr. Yo is about to hit the Imperial Age. Meanwhile, of course, nowhere near the Imperial Age for Miguel. Once again, just doesn't really want to play for the late game with this civilization, but Mr. Yo is starting to surround him with castles.
Yeah, and it's going to be again the game Yo against dogao. Like both, like Lyx is more out of the game than Miguel, but it's not like that Miguel is gonna contribute a whole lot to the game. So we basically have a Malians versus Vikings. Who's going to win the game here? And last 2 times Yo got the better of dogao, which we clearly have to say. So I'm really interested to see if this time dogao manages to do it. I mean, Vikings most certainly a great civilization. And probably he's choosing to go for the classic Arbalest plus Siege Ram combo, which is quite strong.
It can be. It can be. It's just going to take a lot for him to push this back. But they have managed to get quite ahead though, mainly dogao mostly. So I guess it's going to be a matter of momentum for Mr. Yo versus sheer punching power for dogao now that he's gotten up to.
Yeah, I mean, Yo's ideal unit is probably the Chevalier, right? The Farimba Chevaliers. But, I mean, on 82 wills, pretty hard to get to that. You need quite some eco for that.
Okay, there we go. He's taking the castle down though at least, so now he might be able to put a little bit more pressure against Miguel. Although he doesn't really have too many units though, to be fair.
Yeah, also something I really like from dogao this time, he's adding the pikemen. So the last 2 games they didn't really present a counter unit to Yo's knights. In both games, one of the 2 players, either dogao or Miguel, could have added the pike halberdier line. This time he's choosing to go for that. I don't know why he's taking elite skirmishes. That's like probably a misclick. He wanted to probably click up. But maybe he wanted to click elite skirm because he doesn't have any gold access. Maybe that was actually intended. I don't know, but for sure I like the pikeman tech.
Yeah, it's certainly what was missing in the last time around. So that's pretty good on the left hand side. Dogao should be able to, at the very least, hold over here for the time being, I guess. But it's very well played also from Lyx. Notice how he's going for the stone walls around the trebuchets over here, and because he's got the heal advantage, he might actually be able to end up taking the castle down from dogao while still keeping his own up.
Yeah, Siege Ram out there. So they gonna do something. But look at Lyx. He's even making some berserkers to kill the Siege Rams because they obviously have, with the melee attack, they kill them quite fast. That's so good. These small details. Certainly a lot of players would forget to make berserkers and lose their castles and stuff very fast. But Siege Rams get in. They're gonna take out the traps.
They will, man, but take a look at the north. Mr. Yo is just pushing so hard, and you take a look at population starting to equalize very soon.
Yeah, and again, it's the question. So this time, dogao sits at 131 wills and Yo only at 89. So this time, Yo not with an equal lead over dogao like the last two games. It's gonna be really, really hard for him to kill dogao this time.
I think so
And
too.
both,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Miguel is gonna die, but Lyx is like kind of useless as well, so it doesn't really matter, as we said.
Yeah,
As long as Miguel doesn't get defeated. I mean, if Miguel gets defeated here, then plays a role, but as long as he saves some builds and has some spot to reboom, it's fine.
Well, we do have right now down to 10 villages for Miguel. Not quite defeated, but very close to it. He won't be able to keep on producing units anymore, of course. While Lyx still in 48 villagers, not the highest for sure, but it seems to me like he should be able to become relevant in this game significantly faster though compared to Miguel.
Yeah, for sure, but like Lyx is playing Vikings, so even if he's imp, he cannot make any real good units against a already imp Viking that has every tech, and it's just like it's not Lyx can't win this game for WWP. Yo can.
Yeah.
So like yeah, he has more builds and stuff, but it doesn't really matter. Like he could be, if he would be at the 100 will mark, it would matter because he could go and make a lot of units. But at 50 wills, you're not making and you're not contributing a whole lot. So yeah, that's not really significant. Like that doesn't, the 50 wills don't really matter in my eyes at the moment. If he gets up to the 100 villager mark, pumps out a lot of units, then it can get matter again. But I don't see him going there. Knights are there, siege rams are also there. So right now he's probably gonna die as well. And it's gonna be the battle dogao versus Yo again. And Yo only now taking Cavalier, only now taking the chain barding armor. He doesn't have Farimba yet, and it's gonna be really hard for Yo this time to carry this one.
Yeah, well, Lyx's economy was just hanging by a thread over here with 3 C-Trans plus a few Cavalier, or actually Knights over here. Should be enough to take him down for the most part. While he was going for extra archer ranges and he was hoping to start producing military units, he doesn't really have anything right now at hand to defend himself with, so nice push over here for the Gale.
Yeah, I mean, he's using builds to kill C-Drams. That should tell you all about the situation. Now Farimba coming in. Now the plate baiting armor coming in. You also managed to go up to 104 builds. Yeah, it's gonna be dogao versus Yo again, and I'm not sure if Yo can do it this time. Like, really not sure. But I said it the last 2 times as well, and he did it.
Right.
So who knows, man? Who knows?
Would you have liked to see maybe Lyx try and potentially sling Mr. Yo to accelerate the push instead of trying to go for his own military a little bit slower?
I think that would have been the better move, yeah. But it's so hard, you have to imagine. Such a chaotic game. Imagine what Lyx did this whole game. And also, Yo, they somehow managed to kill Miguel to stay into the game. Now they need to face dogao. He's constantly getting raided. Now he has Seadram. Like, it's so hard in that moment to pick the right decision, and that's what separates obviously the greatest players and just really, really good. It's so hard to find always the right decision. Like we sit here, we see everything, we don't have any pressure, so obviously it's way easier to say, oh, you should do this, and this. But in that moment, while obviously you have to pull off all your mechanics and stuff, it's so hard to find the good decisions, right?
Back on.
And actually, Lyx has some military in the middle, so he's having some impact.
Yeah, going for a castle as well and pushing dogao away. That's actually really good. Could potentially, once he gets a castle up, try to go for trebuchets once again. But on the topic of dogao versus Mr. Yo, dogao's got into 200 population already, and Mr. Yo's actually getting very close. So it seems like the lead that we had for dogao in terms of numbers and potential momentum did not really prevent Mr. Yo from catching up as well, and now that's going to leave the situation in a much more even position.
Yeah, but again, he couldn't push up that hill. Yes, he had trebuchets, but he didn't have the chieftain's tech. He's still lacking the last armor for his pikeman. So Yo just has again too much time to solo carry the game again. Again,
Yeah.
it's the same story like the last two games, and somehow Lyx stays more relevant than the dead Miguel. Like Lyx always wins these I'm more not so dead than you games. Like Lyx is always not so dead than Miguel, and therefore dogao has to somehow invest more time into Lyx, and that makes Yo kill dogao at the end. Then it's the same story like the last two games. It's insane. It's a different map. The game played out different. But the end result seems to be the same again, which is mind-blowing.
Yeah, also Lyx pushing them away from the center as well, leaves dogao and Miguel both on 0 gold miners. It's so inconvenient for dogao to have to take a castle down and send all the treasures forward just to get access to gold once again, and it's not even guaranteed income. With these crosses over here from Lyx, those villagers are going down. So, no gold at all for dogao.
Yeah, and now you're fighting again the Farimba Chevaliers. They're insane. 12 plus 7. Like, it's an insane unit. And he's just gonna wipe everything with it. That's the problem. You're playing Vikings. It's so hard to play against Farimba Chevaliers.
Yeah.
Even the Chieftain Pikemen, they just melt. And also keep in mind that Yo with all this eco behind that could go into the champ skulls, into the champions with Marlins. They have extra pierce armor. And if he combines the Farimba Chevaliers with the champions, then it's completely see you later again.
There we go. Dogao's getting pushed back over here. Has only 15 arbaletters left. Only going for pikemen, but of course, as you said, Mr. Yo, as long as he can, I mean, he's got access to gold. He's producing from 7 stables. Farimba Cavalier versus what is this, double barracks pikeman? That's going to be GG, man. That's going to be GG, and that's going to be the series for Wild Palace, who move on to the round of 8.
That's so crazy. Mind blown. Such an insane performance.
Completely, man. Completely. Well played. So, well, 3 times in a row, kind of getting away with sort of the same thing. Wild Palace over here have established their dynamics pretty well. dogao has been unable to counter it, and I'm pretty sure, I would imagine dogao's probably already expecting something coming into Wild Palace. So the fact that Wild Palace was still able to get away with it actually just speaks volumes about their chemistry and dynamic as a team.
Yeah, but they played the classic WWP game. The Lyx is going to sacrifice himself and absorb more time, more pressure, more resources, more army from the enemy, while Yo is just then solo killing 2 players. We saw this happening all 3 games WWP won. All 3 games, you thought they're going to lose the game, Lyx being uber dead, but somehow Yo just takes the backpack and carries them into the next round. They play every game like this, and it's mind-blowing that it works.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at the military distribution. You can see the same stuff. Again, dogao significantly ahead, but struggling to take advantage of it. And Wild Palace slowly but surely coming back, especially Mr. Yo, of course. And it's just a staple of Wild Palace's timelines right now. It always looks like that. All right. Well, with that game being already the final one for the set, let me actually take a look at who Wild Palace will be facing next in